Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we're talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the LA Lakers, who are about to be playing in about 2 hours, maybe a little less than 2 hours actually, since the game is at 4:30. It's 1:30 something. So yeah, 2.5 hours. And the game is in Cleveland. It's on TNT exclusive, so make sure you guys have it set for TNT. And what we're looking at tonight is a Cleveland team that's kind of had some players just coming back from injury at this point. You're looking at a guy by the name of Jared Allen, who's really determining a lot of what it is that we expect to have to game plan for, given the fact that he's a 7-footer that specializes in blocking shots and getting easy buckets in the paint. So he's definitely someone who can make things a lot more difficult for us, given the fact that he has a co-star down there in Evan Mobley, who pretty much can do the same thing, who's more or less Anthony Davis's doppelganger, same height, same length in arms, stuff like that, and they have similar dynamics in the sense that both Mobley and AD are gifted in being efficient defensive players without fouling. Given their length and their intellect, they're just really both very gifted at that. So that's one of the things that we're going to have to understand is Anthony Davis is going to have to deal with that kid. I don't expect life to be as easy. Now, on the offensive end, his offense comes and goes. It's not like we're expecting him to go for a whole lot of points and a whole lot of rebounds, but what he can do is be very disruptive for Anthony Davis and give him basically someone who can match up with him square up. And so that's something that we haven't had, given the fact that we played against the Washington Wizards. Everybody that we were playing against wasn't on that level with him. Porzingis, it wasn't working. But I think a guy like Evan Mobley specializes in what it is that you would want when considering what Anthony Davis is doing right now. The Cavaliers are basically the team that you kind of want to see if anybody can slow down Anthony Davis. It should be what the Cavaliers have to offer right now. If they can't do it, good luck to the rest of the league, put it like that. So this is that kind of matchup for the Lakers. The thing about it is, we have a very specific system that we're trying to run now. Last time we played the Cleveland Cavaliers 4 weeks ago, we had a nice start to the game, but ultimately had some of those old demons that we don't have anymore, which was having trouble figuring out how to get the ball to Anthony Davis in the second half. We got out to a good start, had an 11-point lead, and then the second quarter, after the halftime, they came out and just blitzed us in the third quarter. And then from there, we weren't able to really hold on. So we want to learn from what we saw there against the Cleveland Cavaliers in that matchup. Even though we're a different team, we clearly understand what the recipe for failure is for us, which is not making sure that AD gets his touches. Now, we can get caught up in a lot of different things tonight. This is a trap game in several ways. Not to say that the Cleveland Cavaliers are not a good team, because usually when you refer to trap games, you're talking about a team that you think you're going to beat that could catch you off guard. But no, this is a different type of situation. Trap is in LeBron James-centric type of basketball game. We know that we are not as good as a team when we lean on him this year to shoot the ball and do all of the different things that he loves to do, scoring the ball. It doesn't make us better. And it's one of those situations where he's going to be tempted to be that version of himself because of where we are. In Cleveland, it's a big game for him tonight, obviously returning to his home state. The problem is, if he wants to win this basketball game, we're going to have to continue to do the things that we've been doing that helps us win basketball games. Because when we go to him, it's a no-go most of the time. He can do his points, but it's going to be a close basketball game. Chances are, with those closers that they got in Garland and Mitchell, it's going to be difficult for us to close them out. So what we need to do is go to our workhorse, see if we can have success against that defense, depending on if Allen's playing or not. Really go to him and try to get those stilts in foul trouble. Once we have that opportunity, then that'll open up the defense for us. And then from there, we can sit AD down if the game is out of control, and LeBron James can run up the score, putting up points on the board if he wants to. I think that's the ideal way for him to both have a fantastic game in Cleveland and get his numbers while still making sure that we have the victory. We got to go to AD early and often and then make sure he's involved in everything that goes on in the second half when LeBron James is trying to do his thing, scoring the ball, hopefully in the event that we have made this score favorable for ourselves. Now, the reason why I would even consider that type of confidence is the way that we've been playing as of late. Anthony Davis is putting up basically 35 and 18 basically every night. So you have obviously the best player on the floor playing in basketball right now. And that's why you expect to be able to beat teams rather. And with a co-star like LeBron James, our expectations are high for most basketball games as of this moment. So going into this building, we understand that the Cleveland Cavaliers are coming off of a loss in New York. They didn't score as much as 90 points, and they shot a lot of three-point shots. Only 22% were made, and they turned the ball over a lot of times. I think they turned the ball over about 17 or 18 times. So this is a team that's played a bad basketball game they're coming off of on the road and got a tough home game to run into with us. The thing about it is, just like us, coming off a road trip. They got a tough home game because we got the Celtics coming up at the end of this road trip when we get back to LA. So the schedule makers know what they're doing. They're making sure that when you come home tired, you got a tough team to play, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are running into that with us. So as we come into this building, we understand that they're coming off the road trip. They're probably jet lagged, but they're probably happy that they spent the last night in their bed, which means they got through their own routine. They understand how badly they shot in the last game. They also have confidence knowing that they just beat us 4 weeks ago, and they probably want to bounce back the way that they know they should, because they're a much better basketball team than they showed against the Knicks. And given the fact that they're getting Allen back, that should shuffle guys back into rotation in the way that they needed to do, having the fact that he was out of there. So I saw that they leaned on Cedi Osman with 30 minutes in the last game. He was able to get them 3 steals, so his defense has been active. And we need to see, if Allen's not on the floor, will they lean on him like they had been in that regard? Because if he continues to be a problem defensively, that's something we definitely want to keep marked on our board for tonight's game. Isaac Okoro's minutes were down in that game, which is kind of questionable to me. I don't know what's going on with their team, so I can't assume, but I would always say that in my mind, Isaac Okoro should be getting most of those minutes. So I don't know if there's conditioning issues going on in Cleveland. Who knows? Obviously, you're talking about Caris LeVert as well. That's somebody who always has fantastic confidence against the Lakers. He's a very good player, so it's not like he's a only plays well against the Lakers kind of guy. But if the Lakers are on the dial, he's going to play well. So you got to just circle that and understand he's going to play well against us. The thing about the Cavaliers, as we said, they shot 22% from behind the arc, which means that their stars were shooting them out of the game. You saw a situation where Donovan Mitchell attempted 11 shots, only hit a couple of them from behind the arc. Darius Garland attempted 9 shots, only hit like 2 of them from behind the arc. I think it was Kevin Love that attempted 7, only hit like 1 or 2. So they really shot themselves out of the game. And then also on top of that, of course, turning the ball over. And then from there, they also gave up a lot of boards, man. Everybody on that team essentially ate in the boards. Hartenstein, who else? It was Randall, Robinson. They all ate. Barrett, they all got boards. So this is a situation where if the Lakers crash the glass, take the temperature in regards to how they're shooting the ball. If they want to shoot too many threes, it's going to be the bane of them. The last couple times they've lost games, it was because they shot too many threes and bricked all of them, basically. Against the Toronto Raptors about a week ago, that was the same situation. Every other game that they've played, there's been no real consistency with their three-point attempts. But the one thing for sure, if they're shooting too many, they're going to lose. So you definitely want to kind of coerce them into shooting from behind the arc, and hopefully if they're cold, they'll fall in love with the three, and we'll be able to take advantage of that with our three-point discipline and how we attack the paint, which is something that's important. We got 72 points in the paint in the last game, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how that went. In the game before that, 70 points in the paint. AD understands that the three-point shot is a bane of the Los Angeles Lakers' entire offense. He understands that if he eliminates that shot from his game entirely and focuses on the inside, he can average 1,000 points a game. I wish LeBron James would take that same route and do the same thing that Anthony Davis is doing. Pass up those three-point shots. The same three-point shots that LeBron James is taking, Anthony Davis is being left open to take. And he's just simply putting the ball on the floor and looking for other guys to work into the equation. It is ever so important for guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James to understand the only way our team is going to be good enough to be as good as they want them to be is if other guys continue to be good around them. If we get into a situation where we're only leaning on those stars, it's going to be to the detriment of those stars, and they need to believe and understand that. If those other guys around them ain't playing no good, and they're averaging 2 and 3 shots a game and barely getting involved with 2 and 3 assists because we're only dumping it to them only, believe you me, we're just waiting for our stars to wear down, and then from there we're waiting for those players to struggle in the event that happens. We'll tumble down the standings, man. It's inevitable. We cannot overuse Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and we cannot forget that guys like Austin Reeves must have the ball in their hands to be effective and to get in rhythm. Lonnie Walker, one of the reasons why we're winning games is because we're keeping him effectively involved in these basketball games. Troy Brown has been strong in these last 2 games, getting off the quick starts both offensively and defensively, shooting the three-point shot. We need these guys to stay confident and stay involved. We got Kendrick Nunn has been starting to find his way here and there, even though we've gotten away from him and managed him very well. Russell Westbrook's been taking on more of a facilitating role, and he's been taking on much more assists. He's in a good rhythm right now. Didn't turn the ball over in the last game, had like 16 assists. We need to continue to go to other guys who are helping us succeed. Even though I've talked a lot about Dennis Schroeder's struggles in regards to the defensive end, offensively he was fantastic in facilitating the basketball as well, getting Anthony Davis the basketball and getting 8 assists of his own, as well as getting several steals. So we need to continue to go to players that are helping us and get away from guys who are not. Patrick Beverley, you guys know I'm a big fan of his. Got to get away from him. And I think it's unanimous in understanding that he's played poorly, and he was an 0 for gopher in that last game. That is getting to a point where it's hurting the team more so than it's helping it. Now, against the Bucks, he went at it. He went straight at it early on in the first quarter, got his first 7 points, made sure that he was accountable for scoring. If Patrick Beverley can't account for scoring, going to him and starting lineups and going to him for 20-plus minutes is just a waste of our best interest. We need to go in a different direction and go with taller players, as we talked about in the Laker chat video early this morning. We just got to go with size, man. We cannot invest in the shorter players on this team and expect to ultimately see the best outcome. No, we need to respect size, because that's what's ultimately going to help us get as far as we want to go, especially against a team like the Cavaliers. So, Darius Garland, one of the best shooters in the world, one of the best facilitators in the world, also somebody who couldn't hit a shot in the last game. What does that mean? Well, it can mean one of two things. It could be either like Porzingis, where we saw Porzingis was struggling in the game before that. He came into our game continuing to struggle, and we were prepared for that because of it. Or it can be a situation where a big-time young guard bounces back and hits every shot tonight. He's good enough to be that kind of guy. He could go 1 for 11 in the last game and go 11 for 11 in the next game. That's how talented he is. So if we are not prepared for the very best of Darius Garland, he can shoot us out of the game ourselves. He can kill us by himself. And so that is understood. He's also a fantastic facilitator. Can get double-digit assists on any night. Probably will get double-digit assists tonight. Feeding guys like Evan Mobley, if Allen's on the floor, Kevin Love, and of course Donovan Mitchell, they are the superstar. We need to account for Donovan Mitchell, because obviously he's someone who can also go off for 1 million points for you. No problem. This is probably, and I say this with a pause, but this is probably the best young backcourt in basketball. I know about Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, other guys as well, but this team right here, I think they give everybody a run for their money when you consider DG and Donovan Mitchell and where they're at. The only thing that gets in their way is they're a bit short. But what does that mean when they have 2 7-footers as their 4 and their 5? So they got the perfect team to have a short backcourt like that. It works out. We want to keep an eye on Lamar Stevens. This is somebody I talked about as well yesterday in a game video that I was doing. A video that I was doing in regards to our team. I told you guys I did a little homework on this kid because he had shot the ball very well over the last several games from behind the arc. Now, he only attempted 1 shot against the Knicks and did not connect on it from behind the arc. But this is somebody that I know is shooting above 50% when he's getting regular minutes. Depending on whether Allen's out there or not will determine what type of minutes they expect him to have. But they have been using him in the starting lineup as of late. So we do want to keep an eye on Lamar Stevens, a very active basketball player for the team. So we've talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers a million times. If you guys follow me, you know what I think of their team. I was on board with the Cleveland Cavaliers as soon as they drafted Evan Mobley. I think they're very much a contender and very easily could be the NBA champion this year. I don't think they're one of the easiest teams to deal with because of the length that they have in Mobley and because of the backcourt that they have with those talented players. So this is one of those games where you don't hang your head if you lose it. But given how they played against the New York Knicks, what I saw was a team that was standing still. Everybody was running past them. Everybody on the Knicks seemed to be able to maneuver around them rather easily. They had cement shoes on in the Garden, and so that cannot happen tonight against us. And I say that with humility and respect as a Laker fan, but they can't do that against us. If they play the type of defense that they played against the New York Knicks, against our Los Angeles Lakers, we're blowing them out. I'm telling you right now, with LeBron James in the house, shooting the ball the way that he's been shooting over the last several games as well, Anthony Davis playing Hall of Fame basketball right now, they cannot afford to play anything like they did 2 nights ago against the Knicks. They cannot. And I'm telling you that with a whole lot of happiness, given the fact that we're on the other side of that. We need to make them pay for those mistakes. When they turn the ball over, get in transition. One of the things I want to see us do is attack Jared Allen if he decides to play tonight. Everybody want to come back against the Lakers. I guess it's just a thing in the league. They want to try to, when you're targeting coming back from an injury, if the Lakers are coming up, chances are your butt going to want to come back and play against us. Thing is, though, teams have not been succeeding when that has been the case. They've been coming back and they've been going home losers. So what we need to do is make sure that the Cleveland Cavaliers have that same effect this evening with Allen. They want to throw him out there to try to make things difficult for AD. We need to go straight at him early, get his 2 fouls, and send him right back down. Simple. Go immediately at him. I want Lonnie Walker attacking him, not necessarily trying to dunk on him. He will block your shot, but make sure that you're getting some body contact on this man. Sit him out. Because at the end of the day, if they want to be froggy and bring him back just to slow down AD, which is a smart idea, but not if he's not ready, then we need to take advantage of that. And I don't know that he's ready. I don't know he's ready at all. I think they're trying to pressure him to come back so they don't, botch the LeBron returns game with Anthony Davis going for 70 on him, which may still actually happen given the type of play he's been doing as of late. But as I tell everybody, it's something that we need to be very careful with, and AD does too. If you got any sense and you're going against the Lakers, you need to get AD in foul trouble. And I haven't seen teams try to go at him like that. Maybe the Cavaliers will with Donovan Mitchell. That would be a wise idea. So we need to try to keep him out of foul trouble and manage his fouls as they come our way, if they happen to, every game, not just tonight. Austin Reeves, as I said, it's about the other guys getting involved. But right now we're force feeding AD so much till I almost don't expect guys to be able to get into rhythm tonight. So we'll see how it goes playing by feel. Given that this is a superstar caliber game, we need more AD, Bron playing off one another just like we did against the Milwaukee Bucks in order for us to win this game, in my opinion. It can't be about the other guys necessarily unless they're super duper hot and playing very, very well. But if it's just us trying to work the ball around for them to maybe be average, Darius and Mitchell are going to send us home. So we gotta be star-centric tonight, and we need the stars to play smart. One of the things that I want to see LeBron do, is continues to work on the assist category. I know the scoring punch is what it's about. Getting to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record is always what's on his mind. But at this point, I think the best way for him to have opportunities to score the ball freely is to make sure games are out of hand. You know what I mean? That's how we got to do it. We got to feed AD early, get him to run the score up with a lot of connected possessions and a lot of good defensive possessions early. That way we can find ourselves in situations where we have comfortable leads, as to which we can strategize putting LeBron James in the game to help us keep those leads. And that'll allow him to shoot the ball, drive at the basket, do whatever the heck he wants to do. But we can carve out times in games for him to attack that way so that he doesn't have to average 20 points a game for us to have continuity. We just got to find ways to strategize in it so he can attack and get his 30 points a night. Because if he's taken away from everybody else, if we don't position ourselves to be able to have him to score, he's going to take away from the other guys. He's going to take away from AD, and it's going to hurt our team. So our coaching staff needs to understand that this is a priority of his and do their very best to disarm him from having that priority hurt our team. Because he will. Don't get it twisted. He will hurt your team if you don't find a way to work this into your plan. So I'm telling y'all, we need to disarm any notion of anybody having the ability to be selfish and hurt our team. And there are ways around that. You just got to put the right lineups on the floor and make it so that LeBron James is intent on scoring the ball. You give him the third quarter or the fourth quarter, whatever it is, to score, to just get 15 points. I think it will cut down on some of the stuff that he has to do in order to search out his opportunities to score. He will do that because he's definitely going after Kareem, and he doesn't know whether he's going to be able to make it to that point with his health being as it is. So I don't want his selfishness to get in our way, and I don't want us being unprepared for that selfishness to also get in our way. So that's what I'm about, man. I don't even care about what people's want in situations. We just got to disarm them from doing things that hurt us, period. So with Russell Westbrook, the same thing in regard to him. He don't start no more, so he can't hurt us that way. You bring him off the bench, you put him in position to have lineups where he can do the things that he does, and voila, no more problem. Same thing needs to be done with Bron. So that's what I got to say, man. This is an AD-centric basketball team, but if other guys don't play well, we are not going to get very far. So tonight is a game where we get to measure ourselves against a very good team who's coming off a bad game against the New York Knicks, probably the worst loss they've had all season. And they're going to bounce back, man. Darius Garland can play. Donovan Mitchell can play. These are all-stars, and they probably will be all-stars a lot going forward. Mobley as well. All three of them dudes should make multiple all-stars over the next 10 years. So if we don't approach them as one of the best NBA teams in basketball, or as if this is the most important game on the road trip, we're going to lose. Simple as that. So that's the type of game this is. Just like Milwaukee, it's emotional because Bron's going back to Cleveland. So in the event that, obviously they're not going to be going too bad. I'm pretty sure they have peace with LeBron, but, it's going to be an emotional game, and he's just going to have to disarm himself for falling into bad habits that ultimately end with him losing games like this. So feed AD. That's where we're at. We're in the middle of a huge stretch with him going for 50 and 60 points. I think we need to just ride that out. He ain't going to do that all season long, so LeBron James will be able to pick up and be the number one later on in a couple months or a month and a half from now when AD cools off. But we're going to have to ride this wave and continue to let him go for the 40s, and 50s because this is where he's at, and that's coming naturally to him. It's not like we're forcing it. So don't overuse him. Pay very close attention to his body, all that stuff. If he's not moving right, sit him down. Our workhorse is not the only way we can win, obviously. In fact, we're used to making life hard on ourselves. So if for some reason we have to get away from him for the betterment of our team, I think it's something that we should still be thinking of ways to be successful doing. So that's where my head is in regards to this team. Kevin Love's 3-point shooting is something you want to pay attention to. I don't expect Kevin Love to go 2 for 7 tonight. I really don't. Not at home. So that's a big deal in regards to their 3-point shooting. Those shooters are going to feel so much better in their own arena. And that's probably what they're missing is home cooking. So we got to make sure it doesn't feel like home to them too much. Rebound the basketball, please. As I said, this team rebounded poorly in the last game, but given the fact that Allen wasn't out there, it probably will be tonight, entirely different dynamic. So we need to assume that this is going to be a heavily lengthy team that's going to be giving us all types of problems with length. So don't try them unless you're trying to get them in foul trouble. And look to connect on everything that you try to do because they may not give you the calls given the fact that this is a road game. We haven't been getting our calls. We haven't. Bron hasn't been getting his calls, and Russell Westbrook has not been getting his calls. I don't think it's any secret in the league. We're getting hammered every time we're driving the basket with those two, and we're just not getting whistles. It's getting to be a little ridiculous. I would love for the Lakers to do that old thing that we always do when we say, hey, would you take a look at us, league, because we're not getting our calls. It's getting to that point now. I've seen Russell Westbrook particularly drive to the basket far too many times, get body contact, and we get nothing. Nothing. Just absolutely nothing. And so now it's getting to a point where it's hard to look at what's going on out there without that being a glaring thing for us on a night-to-night basis. We just need those aggressive players to receive those calls that they deserve. And that's something that's outside of our control until it comes our way. But continuing to be aggressive and it coming to no avail hurts our team in transition, which is why it's important we speak up about what's happening to us. Because it's good strategy going at the basket, getting those fouls. We're drawing them, they ain't calling them, and those guys get in transition. It's bull crap and it needs to stop. So that's something I want to talk about. I see other players and they're not as aggressive as Westbrook. They're not as aggressive as Ron. And they're not getting as much contact as these guys. And a lot of times they're getting the calls. So we deserve ours. And as a team that's playing better, I'd love to see us get some calls tonight if we're aggressive. Not just AD, those two as well. Hey, at the end of the day, as I said, Cleveland Cavaliers turned the ball over a lot in the last game. Now, I wish I would have known how many steals was actually forced by the Knicks. I didn't pay attention to that. I should have. But it is a situation where they did ultimately cough up the ball. If we play disciplined basketball, they should hand it to us. But we need to make them pay for that if they do. We've been doing a good job of keeping ourselves with lineups, transition lineups on the floor. Lonnie Walker, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, those guys are fantastic in transition for us. I would love for us to continue to get out in transition. Obviously, Austin Reeves as well. He's been very good in that. Troy Brown is having a good stretch as well. So we want to continue to see those guys be confident and continue to attack defensively. What else? Wenyen Gabriel hasn't been getting the minutes, and neither has Thomas Bryant. Guys, I wish our coach would lean in on more as opposed to who he's leaning in regards to Patrick Beverly. Simply put, Dennis Schroeder. I'd like to see less of those guys and more of the big guys, because the big guys are ultimately going to help us with the things that AD and Bron need help with. Dennis Schroeder and those guys, they help to a degree, but not nearly as much as size when you're talking about AD and Bron. So that's what it's about, man. The Cleveland Cavaliers are a tall basketball team, as I said, with super, super talented guards. So if we're not looking to defend tonight, you might as well just keep your suit on. Just don't even put on the uniform, because they're not going to play lesser defense against us just because they played lesser defense against the Knicks. At the end of the day, I do believe they overlooked the Knicks because of their tail end of their road trip and couldn't wait to get home and was probably thinking about when they do what type of level AD was going to be playing at. I honestly think they overlooked the Knicks and will be very much ready for us. So we got to be ready for that, man. Cedi Osman defensively. Keep an eye on that dude. He's getting minutes right now, as I said. Coro, those guys can play defense. So, yeah, them not playing D against the Knicks means nothing. And that's what it is, man. Keep shooting the free throw ball very well. Understand that they also shot poorly from the field against the Knicks, surprisingly under 39% or something. It was really a bad game for the Cavaliers. So I'm hoping they will replicate some of that. It's only been 48 hours. So, if they was playing as bad as they did against the Knicks or even close to that, this could be a victory for us. I ain't going to say easy win. That's disrespecting who they are. But they can't play like that against us. I can't stress it enough. So we need to just continue to play the way we've been playing. Intent. If you can bring energy to a Washington Wizards game, which we did, there should be no reason for us to not be able to wake up for the Cavaliers. I don't expect to be disappointed tonight at all. And this team hasn't disappointed me lately. They've lost too many games to be letting anybody off the hook. We've been too bad of a team to look at anybody as a shoe-in victory or a team that we just, can kind of shoe on in and be all right about. Nobody is. We're the bad team, and we need to remember that when we come in and try to take possessions off. So let's continue to understand what level we were at to start the season and how easy it is to fall back into those bad habits if we start getting selfish and all of that. Bad selfish plays begets more bad selfish plays. We pointed it out in the last game. We just need LeBron James as the leader to buy in fully and do what he needs to do to make sure that we have good, cohesive ball movement. Because if he's not willing to sacrifice his shots, it's going to be bad play for us, and AD is going to be getting lost in the fold again, and that's just unacceptable for our franchise. After seeing what he's been doing for the last 10 games, it's absolutely unacceptable. We can't have a repeat of what we saw in Phoenix, which was us reverting back to not getting him the ball in the second half. That is unacceptable, and I will not be happy if I see any remnants of that. We've been kicking butt because we've been getting him the ball more so in the third quarter than anyone else. Any other quarter, rather. He's been getting fed in the third, and that is key for us because we start slow out of the locker room, as we said, against the Cavaliers in that 4 week ago matchup. We definitely had that go down. So, yeah, make sure you come out that third quarter with the intent of beating the heck out of that team with an overdose of Anthony Davis. Keeping him out of foul trouble, keeping Bron out of foul trouble, all of that is important. And so, please do not lean on Patrick Beverley too much. I know you're going to be, dead set on doing that, coach, because obviously you're going up against these two type of guards. But it's not like he's been overly effective defensively. And these are hyper-talented guards. So if he's not having any success, we're going to have to lean on taller, better, and more stronger guys to try to get the job done. Double teaming, triple teaming, whatever you got to do. Keep an eye on whoever ends up getting hot for that Cavalier team and do not let up on them. And to a point, it is on Patrick Beverley to play better. We need him. We're going to need him. I mean, when you consider who you want guarding those guys, I don't know that we have a better player to put on Garland. So it's going to be on him to just be aggressive and hit your shots if possible. And if not, we just got to live with what he gives us, I guess. It's going to be on coach to put the right people on the floor. So that's what it is, man. That's what I have to say. Cleveland Cavalier team, hopefully Jared Allen will just continue to sit, man. Let yourself heal. Don't try to go up against Anthony Davis fresh off injury. It's probably not the smartest thing anyway. So that's what I got to say, man. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.